Peace to the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast. Peace to the gang, and welcome back to Quit the Cat Podcast.
Yes, sir.
It's your boy BP, alongside the Bishop.
Booyah.
And we're coming to you live from beautiful Bang Bang Fitness Center,
Yes.
located in Harrisburg, PA.
Yes.
And today, we have a wonderful guest.
All right.
Let me make sure I get my words right.
Get your
On today's episode, we have a three-time author, a mentor of MRS community, Moms Redefining Sisterhood. Let me make sure I get that right. She is the founder of the Resource Center for Hope,
Okay.
as well as the Mayor of Steelton, all while being the mother of 4 wonderful children.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
Yes.
have Steelton Mayor Cierra Dent.
Yes.
What's up?
Yeah. What's happening?
Hello. What's up, y'all?
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
All right.
But before we
Hi.
get started,
Yes.
we got to do a temperature check.
Mm.
It was a new year.
Mm-hmm.
How's everybody feeling in this new year?
I had a word today. What was I going to
You
use?
know what?
I am becoming.
Ooh wee.
I like that.
I'm becoming.
That's good.
I'm becoming.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
heavy.
sir. I like it. Way to start the year off. Becoming.
I'm ready. I'm becoming.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
like that.
And Miss
That's where
J,
I'm at.
Yeah.
what's your word of the day? How you feel today?
Oh, I'm actually a little all over the place this
All
year.
over?
I think just because I know that there's a lot on my plate.
Yes.
When you
Yeah.
know you have a lot to accomplish,
Okay.
I don't want to box myself in. So
There you go.
at this point, I'm just following the flow.
Okay.
Follow
You
the
flowing? You
I'm
flowing?
flowing right now.
That's
yeah,
good, though.
That's a good
The
thing.
flow is good.
It is.
That's
It
the flow
is.
state. It's the
Facts.
flow state.
I like
Okay,
it.
I like
Absolutely.
it.
She got her Steelton colors on.
I do.
Yeah, I see she's
State
rapping.
champs.
State champs. Heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking heavy.
Okay.
Listen, I am, for real, I'm going to say I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it real simple. I'm happy, people.
Listen.
And that's a good thing. 'Cause
Yes.
I wasn't happy last year.
Well,
At the beginning this time. At the end, I was happy. I'm happy now.
Okay.
I'm going to be happy.
I'm
You
glad
dig
to
me?
hear that, bro.
You dig me?
That's
I'm
all
happy. So let's get it.
happiness is
So we
perfect.
have the mayor of Steelton.
Let's go.
Here,
And I
yeah.
was sitting here like, now, because she is the mayor, and we always keep it classy.
Yes.
There's a lot going on because you are a woman of faith.
Yes, absolutely.
You are a woman of color.
Yeah.
Mm.
You are the second youngest female mayor.
I'm the second youngest mayor, first black.
mayor.
Wow.
So we definitely
First
want
black female,
female
mayor.
mayor.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So we definitely want to give you your
Thank
kudos
you.
for that.
Thank you.
And I am honored that you came on here and that because I felt like asking you, I had to because I know you, but now you're the mayor and I respect. Listen, I put
Right.
I
respect
appreciate
on.
that, though.
I
You
put
gotta put
people
respect
where they're
on
at.
it.
I put
Yeah.
respect
I
on that, and I know
appreciate
your time is very. You have to honor your time.
I do, you're right.
So I said, let me ask her. I was waiting. I was hesitant, so I was still nervous. I'm like, I know her, so I don't know why
Right.
I'm nervous.
Right.
So, but I still appreciated the fact that that's how I felt, and
I appreciate that.
I
That's love.
respect the guts and what it takes, and you were there. If anybody can't respect that because it's not a small task.
It's not.
So it's like
Yeah.
never have done something, but I know that God put something in
Right.
me, so I know what I'm going to do type
Absolutely,
thing.
yeah.
And that's what I respect of that, and I
Appreciate that.
respect that you're up for the challenge.
Yeah, it's
Because
a
it's a
challenge.
challenge.
It is.
You know, you're getting swept in people,
Man.
and now you have to different identities and
It's
concern,
crazy.
even staff.
Listen.
You know, so we definitely wanted you to give us. I want to come a little bit back before that, so you can lead us into the journey of going to that and making that decision that basically changed your life.
Okay.
So
We can do that. So yeah, I am the mayor of Steelton. It's definitely something that I really was not. I didn't have a passion for politics. This isn't something that I really wanted to do. It's literally, like you said, it was a God-given purpose. It kind of fell in my lap, and I went with it to see, how things would work.
Right.
I was like, if y'all believe in me, I believe in myself too. It is
Yes.
what it is. But it's definitely not something that I wanted to do, but I always wanted to help people.
Okay.
I always had a passion to just help however I can, whatever I can do to help people heal, people
Yes,
laugh,
yes,
just
yes.
have a better life. That's always been my goal. So, you know, even as a kid, that was always the thing that my dad used to always be like, you always want to help other people. And at first I thought, I was like, well, maybe this is a bad thing that I want to help people. But the older I got, I realized that everybody don't have that passion and everybody can't have a big heart. I think there are only so many people can have a big heart and still be able to use it without it being a hindrance to them. So I had to learn how to balance out how I felt, be able to help people set boundaries, things of that nature, so that it not only helps them, but it also helps me. It's beneficial to everybody in this situation. So yeah, I've been just, I'm a sibling of like 8, it's 9 of us all together. I grew up pretty much in Harrisburg before we moved to Steelton, but I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I tell people I'm cut from a different cloth because I really am. I'm not from Harrisburg. Like my roots are not here. I kind of just was transported here and transplanted here with my dad. So I have the same story as a lot of people here. So my mom was on drugs. You know, my dad was a single parent. He had, you know, he didn't get married until we were probably like 14, 15. So I was the product of a single parent home, having to come up in Neck, having to live in Harrisburg. I grew up over on 13th and Berry Hill, so I got the hood side, you know, I know what that looks like. And then going to Steelton and it being a whole nother world and it being like really a melting pot of just all these different people, nationalities, ethnicities, that gave me the ability to not really look at people of who they are, but just because of their heart, like look at who they are and the character wise. So it gave me the ability to really know, like, this is what I want to help people. Like, I want to be able to be around a whole bunch of different people and be in a room and not be limited to my beliefs of who people are just because of what they look like. So Steelton really gave me that backing to be able to treat people how they should be treated. You know, I went to college. I went to Cheney University, CU. And I went there for about a year because I was fast and I got in trouble and I came home pregnant after my freshman year. But you know, I think that everything has its purpose. Everything happens for a reason. And I tell people every time God wanted me to slow down, he gave me a baby. He was like, listen, this is going to slow you down a little bit. I need you to pump your brakes a little. So, you know, I had a child when I was 19 and that really sobered me up to the point where I was like, okay, I have to figure out what I want to do with my life. So since I wasn't able to do what I originally wanted to do out of school, which was become a pediatrician, I was like, well, I still want to deal with medicine. So I decided to go to school to become a medical assistant. So I've been doing that for the past 12 years now. And that gave me the passion and it helped me to even live in the purpose of helping people. And I was like, you know, there's more. Like you could just feel when there's more. It's like you feel satisfied with where you're at, but you can always feel like your gut and your spirit's going to tell you like, there's more for you. And so I stepped away from the medical field and I started dabbling and just different things with education. I became really devoted spiritually. You know, I decided I wanted to get rededicated back in 2014. So that's when I really started taking my walk with Christ even serious. So I had a lot of things moving at the same time. And then right around the pandemic, is when I decided I wanted to move down to Alabama. I lost my parents both in 2015. My mom passed in March of 2015, and then my dad passed away in August of 2015. Thank you. So that was a tough year, you know. So after that, I said, you know what, I think it's time for me to try something new, get away from everything, and just take my own journey. I went down to Alabama, and that was just a whole culture shock, and ended up back in Pennsylvania maybe 9 months later. So after that, I was like, okay, well, I need to reset. I need to know what it is that God really wants me to do. And at the same time, I think everyone was watching all the injustices that was going on. You know, the George Floyds, everything that was going on in every part of the world. And we had no choice but to watch it. It was everywhere. And that moment is when I knew that I had a heart for injustices. I hate to see people get treated wrong. I hate to see people being the underdog or being taken over or their voice not being heard. Like that always birthed a fire in me. And when that happened, I said, you know what? I can't be the person who protests all the time. There has to be something else that I can do. And in that moment, God was like, I need you inside the rooms that's making the decisions because that's where you can really make the most impact. So I was like, okay, sure. I'll start off at maybe, you know, school board. That's easy. You know, you don't really got to know too much of school board. You just got to be able to, learn and
yeah.
get, it's like a step up.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I'll do that. And God has something bigger. And,
Okay.
someone came and was like, hey, what do you think about running for mayor? And I was like, absolutely not. Like,
Wow.
Wait,
no.
so somebody had you on their mind
Yes.
and they brought it to you.
Someone came to me. That was probably like one of the lowest points actually in my life, because I had just came out of a horrible relationship. I had just moved back from Alabama from a failed journey that I felt was a failed journey. And I was like really in a place of like, I just have to get back on my feet.
Okay.
Like I was staying with my brother with 4 kids. I was working at one of the lowest paying jobs I've ever had. So at that point I was like, I just need to get my life back together.
Right.
Okay.
And then here comes this girl and she says, "What have you ever thought about running for mayor?" I'm like, what, girl? No, like that is not on my mind right
Yeah,
now. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Maybe school board or something like that, but mayor, no, I'm not qualified for that.
Okay.
And that's the biggest thing that that was holding me back is like, God, I'm not qualified for this.
Right.
That
Like
holds a lot of us back.
It does.
Well, he said, yes, you
Yeah.
are.
Exactly.
Yes, you are.
I tried to get out of it so many times. I was like, maybe if I ask, my brother, I call him my humble pie because he's going to tell it how it is. And I was like, well, maybe if I ask him, he'll talk me out of it.
Right.
And he was like, nope, you should do it. I was like, oh, hell, here we go.
Uh.
Here we go. If he said, yeah, there's a
yeah.
problem. So I'm like, all right, let me
Looking
go.
for no's.
Looking for no's. I'm like, let me go ask my pastor. Maybe
Right.
maybe God's telling him to tell me
Yeah.
no. He's like, no, I think that'd be a great idea. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't get a no from
Yeah.
nobody. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not working. And I would say probably after like 2 weeks of praying, and my mentor, she said, listen, if you get peace, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
She said, either way you're going to learn. She said, either you're going to win or you're going to learn.
Okay.
There is
Yeah.
no loss. I'm like,
Mm.
okay.
Yes.
And after 2 weeks of praying, I was like, no, I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how we kind of ended up here.
Ching, ching.
What do you think
Listen.
that they seen in you that made them recommend you for mayor?
I think that a lot of it came down to what I was already doing.
Okay.
And I think it also boils down to how you carry yourself and doing the work prior to the title.
Yes.
Right.
And that was a lot of what really got me that seat is because people already saw me doing the work. I was already in the community. I was already helping people. I was mentoring. I was already, with the nonprofit. I was already, ministering, all types of
Yes.
stuff, dealing with the school board and dealing with the school district itself.
Yes.
I was very involved already.
Okay.
So they was like, well, you're already doing it. Like, you just don't have
Right.
the title. I'm
Right,
like, well,
right.
I really don't want the title because that
Yeah.
probably comes with a little bit more responsibility.
Okay.
But I think it was more so just them saying what I wasn't necessarily saying.
Gotcha.
We're usually harder on ourselves.
Absolutely.
And it's like, yeah, no, I can't do that. I can do this, Maybe I can do it, but I'm not qualified for
Yeah.
that title that comes with it.
Okay.
So I'll just do the work on the back end. And we always say, well, I just like to play the black. I just want to play the backfield and behind the curtains. And most of the time, it's really just fair because you feel like somebody's going
I'm
to tell
excited
you.
for you.
You know?
I am. I'm excited for you.
You
It
over
is
here
good.
grinning.
It is. Listen.
That was
I
real.
am.
He was happy. I know he's excited.
Listen, it does. I am just because, you're the mayor.
I know, ain't that crazy,
like
though?
walking into Turkey Hill down there. You're the
Right.
mayor.
I know,
Right.
it's crazy.
You know, people like, that's the mayor. Like, that's the mayor. Like,
It's crazy.
So it's
It
big.
is.
So can I was like, should I ask this question?
Oh, Lord, help us.
Let's go. Let's go.
Because you said you lived in Harrisburg
Mhm.
and then you lived in Steelton, and you could see the difference.
Yeah, big facts.
So I want to talk about what's the difference. I mean, I see it different. Everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody
you
knows
from
that.
here, you know
Yeah.
the difference.
Listen,
yeah.
you
different.
even put your
Yeah.
seatbelt on.
Listen,
Yeah, yeah,
you sit
yeah.
up straight
You
when
sit
you
up
come
straight
to
when
Steelton.
you sit up straight
Yeah.
a little bit by the
Yeah.
time you pass UPS.
You do.
So
You do.
either side. If you're passing
Yeah.
down there on
Facts.
Front Street, you're like, yeah.
Absolutely.
So
You're right.
I just wonder
you know what?
how is it? Because it is like culture shock. It's
It
like,
is.
and then you see things. So things are going to happen. That happens in Lower Paxton. It happens across the river. Spontaneous things happen. But I'm talking about to be able to. I mean, I know it's already in place because their block's already been controlled by themselves. Is it the residents? Do they care a little bit more? You think, or is it less children? Less. What is it? I mean, because it's the same amount of houses, the same amount of corners, but I know it's smaller. Is it smaller?
We're smaller.
It's
So,
smaller, so
the city of Harrisburg itself has about, give or take, 50,000 people. That's
Right.
that
Yes.
under the city of Harrisburg. Still, and we're only about a good 6,000.
okay.
So it's a small town.
Okay.
And I think that does play a big part because of it being a small town.
Okay.
People are closer.
Okay.
it's like going to, your favorite club or your favorite bar. Everybody knows you, so there's only but so much that's not going to get out. Everybody knows your name. You only need to be there for a couple months. Or most likely somebody's going to know who you are. So, cool. So it's very close knit, and that's one of the things that I love about Steelton is that it's close knit. Okay. I can send my son to the store, and somebody's going to know him. Okay. Somebody's going to see his face and be like, "Oh, that's the mayor's son," And I know that there are people who's going to watch. I know that we're going to look out for each other, and it's not to say that doesn't necessarily happen in the city. Yes. It's just that the city is so much bigger. Okay. It's more challenges to come with that because you're dealing with more people. Yes. So I always tell people that because a lot of people always say, "Oh, well, they'll try to compare me to Mayor Wanda," and I'm like, Mayor Wanda got a totally different beast than what I'm dealing with. Like her beast is different. I'm baby goat. That's big goat over there. She's dealing with a whole nother beast, and I have to remind people, it's like you're dealing with so many different personalities and characteristics and challenges when you come from Harrisburg to Steelton. But the thing is, Steelton is since we're that small borough, that small town, we're very transient. So the same people you see in Harrisburg are most likely going to be the same people you see in Steelton. Yes. We're going to share neighbors. We're going to share residents. There's people that's going to come to Harrisburg for a year, move to Steelton, because everybody's just trying to figure out what works best for them. Yes. Exactly. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's just the size.
Okay. They're definitely unified in Steelton.
They're unified.
Steelton don't play about Steelton. Listen, everybody I know from Steelton, they Steelton to the death.
They Steelton, and don't be born and raised in Steelton, because that's a totally different ballgame.
My people from
my Lord. Yeah, so they don't know what they want to be. Yeah. I love them, but they not Steelton, but they not Harrisburg. It's like they're just right in the middle. Right. They get to ride that wave.
Yeah, they be like, we're from Oberlin. I'll be like, okay.
Right.
You from Oberlin? I'm like, no. My grandma don't know nobody, but I never. Yeah.
They're right on the cusp. They can kind of pick and choose what they want to do.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So before we get in,
I just wanted to ask, for us non-mayoral people, what are some of your duties?
Okay, so for me it's different compared to a city. So with me being a borough, I'm more of a figurehead than I am a power head, so to speak. So I like to use the analogy of chess. So your queen is your most powerful. Yes. But your queen is protecting your king, and your king, you would think that your king is your most powerful piece because it's the king.
Right.
But the king is actually more so like a figurehead. Yes. He can't do that much. He can only go but so far without everybody. He's very limited. Yes. So I'm more of the king on the board than I am the queen. Okay. Because I'm very limited. I don't necessarily have the power that I would necessarily have in the city. Our borough council is who holds the power between the 7 council members and our borough manager. Usually they're the ones that make those calls. They're the ones that vote on the different legislation and the different ordinances and things that happen. Okay. Now, for me, I love the role that I'm in, because what it means is that the people trust you so much that they're willing for you to be their voice. Okay. So that goes back to me wanting to be the voice for the voiceless. Okay. So they may not be in the room to make those decisions, but I am. So they can come to me and say, "Hey, well, these are the issues that we're having. If these issues arise, or if these conversations arise, we want you to be our voice in that room." Okay. So if they're voting a way that doesn't work for us, it's not for our betterment. We want you to speak up, and we want you to be that voice. Wow, yeah. And if that doesn't work out in the way that I would prefer for it to, I'll go back to the people like, "Hey, these are the people y'all voted in. These are the people y'all voted in. These are the people that are making these decisions. And if they're not making the best decision for y'all, I'm going to need y'all to get some new people in here. Right. Because it's not working out for the betterment of the people." So I'm that voice in regards to the community. Another thing, when it comes to a borough, I also oversee the police department. So I am the chief of police boss. I'm the head over the police department. I make sure that things are running smoothly within that realm. In regards to emergency responders, the fire department, EMS, things in that nature. I more so see that side of it, while council handles the legislative side of it. Okay. So it's fun. I get to be involved with everything police related. I get to weigh in on who gets interviewed, who gets hired, who gets fired, things in that nature, who gets promoted. I get to swear on men, all that good stuff. So that has been actually a joy, because I know that in the time that we're in, even with the reason of me even wanting to be involved was because of the
So
injustices
you get
that we
to,
see.
so you get to pick your cops.
I get to
Vet them.
Yes,
basically.
I do. I get to vet them, and that's always a nice thing because it gives it gives an old system a new way to look at things. And me coming in as this young black woman over a police department like that, all in itself is huge because
it's major.
You don't see that. Yeah. You don't see a black person reigning over a police department. But it's been so amazing because I've been able to build those relationships with those officers.
So do you, the trust is established?
The trust is there. Like my officers got my back. Like, and because they know that I have theirs. They know that I'm going to make sure. When I first came into the office, I told them, like, listen, I'm not going to change anything. I want to see how y'all run. Right. I want to see what y'all do. I want to see how I can support y'all so that y'all have enough officers on the street so that y'all aren't burnt out, so that y'all aren't having mental breakdowns and things of that nature. So I supported them before I asked them to do anything. And that built the trust that was needed between me and them. So now I can call any one of my officers now and be like, hey, I need you to do this. And they're like, I'm on it. And it took time to build that trust. But they saw that I didn't come with any ulterior motive. Like, there was no hidden agenda, like, we're just going to take over the police department and run it. And it wasn't none of that. It was like, listen, I want to help y'all, and I want y'all to help me. So we're going to do whatever we got to do together to make this thing work. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah,
that is so dope, yo.
I'm telling you.
That is so fire. Like,
it
for real,
is.
for
It's
real.
amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, God is dope.
Yeah,
there you go, grinning again.
That's dope for real, though. That's major.
I am.
It's awesome. Listen, I'm impressed myself.
There you go.
Listen, I'm shocked myself.
You fix your crown when you come in there.
I do, and sometimes it gets hidden because regardless of the position that I hold, you still have to remind yourself, and there's still those sad realities that regardless of the position I'm in, you're still gonna have those challenges.
Right.
Like
I'm learning.
You're
growing.
That's the good thing.
You've always been open for that. So it's just...
Listen, I love it. There's no limits for me. There's no ceiling. Like for me, I've already shattered those ceilings. Now I'm just pretty much just looking around like, oh, okay, this is cute. I like this. Let's see where else I can go in here.
This is cute. I like this. This is fire.
Let's see what else we can do in here.
Right.
So yeah,
I'm ecstatic.
I am.
Listen, that's dope.
So because we covered so much.
Yeah, you stole a lot of my questions
so
in your answers.
So that's cool. So I want
that's
to
great.
Know, like, what's your? So first, let me ask you about the 7. How are you with your relationship with the city council, the council,
our borough council? So, it's to the point where we can work together. I've learned going into it at first. I kind of went in, I would say a little immature at first because it was like, I'm going to just get in here and I'm going to shake this stuff up and I'm going to do this and that. It's not like that. Politics is a different ball game. And you have to be willing to work with people, number one, that don't have the same beliefs as you. They don't believe in the same things. They may not even back the same things that you would normally back, but it's like a give and take situation. Like, listen, I'll give this if you're willing to work with me on this. We've learned to respect each other's differences, but we also know that we have a common goal, and our common goal is to do whatever is best for the people.
Right.
So I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm friends with anybody because that was the first thing I told them when I got sworn in was, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make change. And if that change comes with the cost of me being your friend, then that's the risk I'm willing to take. Okay. So we respect each other. We're willing to work together, and I just let them do them, and they let me do me. Okay. Yeah.
That's the balls right there. I'm not here to be your friends. We about to make changes.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Make change.
I like it.
At this point, yeah.
I like it.
I love it. So I'm big on routine. So let me ask you. Yes, I like to ask. What is your morning routine? Like, what's your morning routine? What gets the mayor of Steelton? What's her morning routine?
Coffee.
That is.
First things first.
Listen, that is my routine. I have 4 kids at home, so my routine changes day to day. Okay. I would love for it to be a little bit more rhythmic, with a little bit more, daily. But right now, I'm really at a place now that I'm able to be like, okay, I understand where I'm at now.
Okay.
I got my footing. I got my balance. I can kind of work around what I have to do now with the new responsibilities. So that's actually one of my goals this year, is to make sure that I incorporate some type of routine in my morning. Because right now it's like, whatever happens in the morning is what's going to happen in the morning. As long as my kids is taken care of, they're off to school and off to daycare and all that good stuff. After that, my morning is, let me get some coffee, and then we just going to rock this day out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard, we were somewhere and I heard you say, I show up in sweatpants.
Listen, I will. I will go to the borough office in sweatpants. They see me in sweats. They see me in jeans. I like to show them that I'm not just the mayor. I'm also a human.
Right.
I don't want them to look at me as someone that's untouchable, because I don't feel as though that's the way that we should be carrying ourselves.
Right.
Like anyone can, at this point, anyone can get it. Like, so it's like,
let's go.
it's like you have to keep that in your mind, in the sense of, I'm not untouchable. I'm only here, you know, because by the grace of God, like I'm literally here by the grace of God, because my background tells me that I'm disqualified to be in the seat. You know, the things that I've been through, the mistakes that I've made, they tell me that I disqualified myself a long time ago, but because of who God is and because of his, you know, his graciousness, I'm here to be able to help somebody else. So it keeps me humble to be able to show up and be like, listen, I'm tired today, y'all. Y'all gonna get me with no makeup, no nothing. Y'all got me with a broken nail. Like, that's how, like, I want people to know that I'm human too. And I want them to be able to continuously be able to relate to me, regardless of what title I carry.
Okay. What's the biggest thing you learned so far?
The biggest thing I've learned, I would have to say, is there's no such thing as balance. At the beginning of the year, I know, right? Listen, at the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, God, how can I balance all this stuff out? Because I'm a mom, I do this, I mentor, I minister, I do all these different things. And I said, God, why? It's crazy. And I said, God, why would you put more on my plate? Like, my plate's already full. How am I supposed to do all this stuff? And one of the things he said was, it's not about this or that, it's this and that. And a lot of times we get ourselves in a place of, okay, well, how can I balance all of this out? And I remember just trying to figure out, like, how can I do this? And it was like, no, you can't balance it. Everything just harmonizes together. So it's better. It's more of a harmony and a rhythm than it is a balance. One day I might be super mayoral. I might be doing phone calls, emails, meetings, emergencies. That day might just be straight mayoral type duties. The next day I might just be straight mom. You know, the kids may need me, so now I'm more mom mode. And the next day it's like, listen, I'm tired. I need to just be me.
It goes by per day.
Yeah, it's like it's just harmonizing with what that day requires of me. So instead of just trying to make a balance of, okay, well, I need to from 8 to 10, I'm doing mayor stuff. From 12 to 2, I'm gonna do. It's like, no, I'm just harmonizing with whatever it is that life needs out of me at that point in time.
It goes back to that flow state.
It is. Yeah, just flowing with it.
What comes.
Absolutely.
So can you tell what kind of day it's going to be?
Sometimes I can, yeah. Sometimes I can wake up and, depending on what pops up on my phone or what happens the night before, whatever the case is, I can kind of be like, yeah, it's going to either be an easy day or this is going to be colorful. That's my new word, colorful. It's going to be colorful. Right.
What's the? Did I ask? So what was the most challenging? What was the most challenging thing that you came up against? I don't want to know about the most bad thing. I'd rather know about the most challenging situation you had.
I would say the most challenging for me was showing up authentically me. That was my biggest challenge this year. The situations, there were some challenging situations, but I think at the root of it was me not authentically being me. And if I would have showed up as myself, or if I would have showed up as my full self, I probably would have handled certain situations differently.
Okay.
And so throughout this year, I would say that I kind of gave way on who I was. I kind of lost way of being this bold woman, because, you know, a bold woman, not only just a bold woman, but a black woman, is a little intimidating to some people, or a woman in, leadership position, that's a little intimidating.
Right.
A lot of people don't like to see that. So what we do is we kind of dumb ourselves down, or we fade to the back, or we'll say, I'll agree with you on this because I don't want you to think that I'm argumentative, or I'm just being drama.
Okay.
So I kind of like calm myself down and kind of shrunk myself.
Settling.
Yeah, I shrunk myself.
Okay.
And I think that's what caused my position itself, and just last year, in my first year, to be challenging, because there were situations where I knew I should have spoke up and I didn't, or there were situations where I knew I could have resolved it differently, and I decided, no, I'm gonna let them do it, or I'm gonna fall back, you know. And that was a challenge to me, because I was like, what am I here for if I can't be myself?
Right.
You know. So yeah.
My question is, what do you see your effect as being on like little black boys and girls? At seeing you're young, especially at a younger age. So what do you think your effect is on them?
I would hope that my effect on them is showing them that it's possible out of everything. I have a 7-year-old daughter now, and one of the moments I'll never forget with her is we put a billboard up in Steelton when I was running during my election, and we took her down there as they were pinning it up, and she looked at it. She was like, "Mommy, like that's you," and she was just like so blown away that her mom was on this billboard, and that moment that showed me that I unlocked something in her to show her like you can do this. Like if your mom can do this, that means you can do this. And that's what I tell all the kids when I come in contact with them, when I go up to the schools or when I see them in the streets, whatever. Like, I'm the mayor, but so you could be the mayor too. Like you should be the mayor now at this point, because if I can do it with everything I had to go through, you can be exactly what I'm doing, and you can go further than what I am. Like the bar has been set now. You gotta go a little bit further than this. So I think it put a fire in them to let them know that someone that looks like you can do great things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even though I know your backstory, you say you weren't qualified, or you didn't feel qualified. I feel like politicians, they don't really equate to us, or we don't feel they do.
Yeah.
So with you saying, this is my story, this is where I come from, this is how I grew up, this is what happened, you relate to people more than most politicians do.
Absolutely.
So it seems like you're overqualified for real, because you know things for real, what really goes on out here that a lot of us go through. So I think that makes you more than qualified, in all honesty.
And I think that was one of the things that I had to realize too, was I was looking at myself for being qualified from like the textbook qualifications, or the family lineage of politicians, like all that. Like I'm like, that's not in my family. I'm like, that's not in my family. Like we don't have politicians in my family. Like that's not what we do. From that standpoint, it was like, no, I'm not qualified for this. But then looking at the experiences and the people that I wanted to be the representation for, I said, you know what? I relate to them more than probably anybody out here.
Absolutely.
And they're able to look at me and say, yo, that's a single mom. Like, she knows my struggle. Or, she's a renter. Like, she knows my struggle as a tenant, So they look at me and say, well, if she's in office, we know that she's going to speak on our behalf because she relates and she's been there. She's done that. So I think that's
one of us.
Right, exactly.
That's major that people want you to speak on their behalf.
Yeah.
That's major, because I wouldn't let everybody speak on my behalf.
I wouldn't either.
I know. So that's major.
Yeah, it's definitely it's humbling, and it's very it's sobering to know that people trust you that much, that they will be willing, that even if they're not in a room, they're trusting you to know that you're going to do the right thing.
Right. I just start smiling like it. That's amazing. I like that.
Really?
That's awesome.
So if you can give one piece of advice, or what advice, I don't like narrowing it down to one. So if you could give advice to someone that's inspiring to do something, or might be battling in their mind of what to do, what would you tell them?
I would probably have to say fear will rob you of everything. That's the biggest thing. Fear robs you of literally everything. A lot of things that I could have possibly done last year, I did it out of fear. I haven't done it. And I had to sit with myself at the end of the last year, like, I did some great things, but I messed up on a lot of opportunities because I was fearful.
Right.
Because I felt as though I didn't qualify, or I felt as though showing up as me was not what people wanted. So I fell back and I shrunk, and I said, I could accomplish a lot more if I wouldn't have been scared. So I think that my biggest motivation to anyone is to just do it. Even if you have to do it scared, like you still got to take that jump.
It's hard to get over that.
It is. It's very hard. And a lot of people, what we consider to be anxiety is really just that you're scared.
Yeah.
You're scared of the unknown. You're scared of what could happen.
Right.
And then we talk ourselves out of all these great opportunities of taking these big risks or these giant leaps. And it's really because we don't know what's on the other side of it. And it's like, but if you never do it, you're never going to find out anyway. Yes. And even if you do fall on your face, at least you know how to do it better the next time you do it. Yeah, at least you might not fall on your face that time. You might land on your feet.
Because I'm scared. Because I said, God, look, I'm for real. I said, I've been telling myself I want to be in uncomfortable situations.
Ooh.
And I was like,
that's a horrible prayer.
Listen, because I know it has to be on the other side of my comfortability.
Yeah.
You know, so it has to be like I can come up with challenges for me physically, but now I got to come on challenges of showing up in a different. So I have these challenges coming. So it's like I'm ready though, and I'm excited. So it is. I just had to. I told Delane today. I said, listen, I'm gonna need you to be uncomfortable because I'm not going to just be uncomfortable this year. Right. Anybody that's around me, you got to be doing something uncomfortable. Like I'm here for the uncomfortable thing, and I was like, Lord, listen now. I'm trying to put pieces on that. Like I said that, but like.
Right. You like, I really didn't mean that. What I really meant was.
It's out there now.
Right. So I done survived some things. So I don't want to survive nothing like that type of uncomfortability. I never want to go back and experience none of that again. So I still hold that in my heart. I know what that feels like. So I don't need nothing that drastic. But I do want to rise to a challenge.
See, the funny thing you even just said, what you just said just like confirms what God has been telling me, because I'm actually, like I said, I'm this and that. So this Sunday, I actually have to preach for my pastor. He's going to, he asked me to step in for him. And the one thing that God told me to preach on was fear. So I've been studying fear. That's been my thing. And this morning I was studying, he said, and as I'm reading this story, and I'm reading about the story about Gideon. Yeah. And I'm reading through, and I'm like, this whole book is literally just about fear. But when you look at the root of fear, it's really just that we want control. Yeah. Right. When you don't have control or something, you get scared. Right? Yeah. So it's like you can either let go of that control and do and really trust God the way that you say you do, because that's all it boils down to. Like, do you really trust God
we about the to way
that you say you did?
I'm up for it. We about to find out.
You are.
We about to find
out. We're going to do a recap.
Yeah, I'm about to put myself in some uncomfortable situations, and I'm gonna show up. I promise you, I'm ready.
I believe you.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm gonna kick butt.
Let's get it.
I promise you, I'm a ninja.
All right.
I'm coming out with it like a ninja. I'm John Wick 4 already.
Oh, John Wick right now.
I'm John Wick on my goals.
Let's go.
I'm John Wick. Out here, I'm going to kill it, learning everything. I'm out here, I'm showing up, ready.
Absolutely.
Black suit and everything.
Let's go.
Without the slick back, but I'm here. I'm
it's all good. Showing up. You got your slick back
ready.
Listen, I'm
ready.
Good. Yeah. You can make it happen. Get some beeswax. You got it. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So,
that's all it is.
I'm doing some things, so I'm just.
Hey, do it.
I'm getting energy from you. So
I know. Listen, at the top of the year.
Big energy thing.
Look at that.
Yeah, we only 2 days into this joint already. Let's go.
Ready.
That's dope.
I'm ready. So, what I have for you? I need my 3 books.
Okay.
I'm an avid reader. I love reading.
Really? And that's funny because I was going to bring it with me, and I forgot.
I'll bring them. Yes.
You should have definitely brought those.
I know, I forgot.
Books of life.
Come on, Mary.
I know.
Come on, Mary.
I know. That's why I do see. I do too much, and then I'll be like, oops.
That's my
obsession. I'll be forgetting.
Well, make sure after you tell us your 3 books, we can get the titles of your 3 books.
Yeah, I got too many of them. I got too many.
I need 3. And listen, we know the Bible is one. I need books.
I know.
So I know
you should be able to feed off of a lot of more than just the Bible.
Yes. So I need 3 books.
Okay.
Give them to me.
My favorite right now is Our Time Is Now.
Okay.
By Stacey Abrams. That's my girl. I'm mad at Georgia still about her. But that's a really good read. I want to say the second book, I was literally just looking at my notes of it, and I know I'm going to butcher the title, but it's the seven leaderships with John Maxwell.
John
Anything,
Maxwell.
anything he writes is just
I read that.
ridiculous.
Yeah, good book.
But it's a good
Yes,
book to
absolutely.
revisit. Like, I'll revisit that over and over. Thirdly, I would have to say, I don't know. I'm trying to think. You know what? It's a good book, Becoming. Michelle Obama's, her Becoming
Yeah, my
book.
wife read that. Yeah.
That's a good. Well, why? You could have read it. You just said your word was Becoming. You
know.
should be reading Becoming. T.D. Jakes, I love his books. Listen, he just said his word.
Keep going.
He said his word was
Right,
Becoming,
right.
and you didn't even read Becoming. T.D. Jakes, I love me some T.D. Jakes too. He's dope. Like all of his books,
Okay.
Soar, Destiny, Don't Drop the Mic. Like his books are, they will light a fire underneath you.
Okay.
Yes, I like my books too.
I'm a lady that reads.
You know,
Yeah.
Okay. What did I have for you? We had some. Oh, this is the good questions. These are the good questions.
Good question. She answering good. She got
you
good answers. So
listen, because you killed everything.
listen.
that's what I aim to kill.
So let me ask you this: what's the favorite thing about yourself that you love most about yourself and who you became and who you are right now?
I would have to say I'm resilient. I love that about myself. I used to hate it because I used to feel like, why do I have to always keep bouncing back? Like,
Right.
resilience means that you're always coming back from something, you know?
Yeah.
And I used to be like, well, why do I always got to fight and come back and bounce and
Right,
fall
right.
down and come back? Like, I don't want to do all that. But it showed me that I have a innate responsibility and a gifting in me that I'm never gonna give up. Like, that's just in me. Even when I want to give up, my spirit just won't let me. So I love the fact that I'm resilient. I love the fact that no matter what life throws at me, I'm going to bounce back from
So
it.
you don't live off your own excuses.
I don't.
I love it.
I'm a person, don't bring me no excuses. You going to meet a whole nother side of me. Yeah. I don't like
I like
excuses.
it. I like it. I love it.
No, don't like excuses.
I
So,
love it.
yeah.
I love it. So tell us the 3 books.
Oh yeah, your 3 books.
My 3 books.
Yeah.
Okay, so in my ratchet days, I wrote a book called A Single Mother's Diary. Now, I say in my ratchet days because it really was in my ratchet days. That was BC, before Christ.
There we go.
Okay? But it still was a good book in regards to motherhood and single motherhood and the things that we go through as single mothers and the difference between a single mom and a single woman. I think there's a lot of women that call themselves single moms, but they're really just single women. Like, the dad does what he's supposed to do. You
right.
co-parent. You're just
This
a
sounds
single.
like a book of learning how to use with the ratchet.
Yeah.
But it's a little ratchet, but you know.
It probably speaks the language that
It
needs
does.
to be received. At
It
that
does.
time.
Right,
It did.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's what that book's about. And then I came out with, what was this? Check My Shoes, Not My Walk. And that book was really is about my journey from being and doing whatever it was I wanted to do and finally giving my life to Christ and finally taking that journey to get to know him for myself and getting to know him seriously and the things that I saw while I was on that journey and how realizing that you're called and that you're a child of God and how that can change the whole trajectory, not just for you, but for like your whole bloodline.
Yeah.
So that book talks about like just being an emerging young leader and the things that we have to go through and how we have to kind of carry ourselves. Yeah.
Okay.
The third book is Mask Off.
Okay.
And that came again, I usually write after I come out of a transitional season.
Okay.
So that book I wrote in regards to coming out. I had just found out I was pregnant with, I want to say my fourth son. I had just found out I was pregnant with him. And I was mad as hell because I was like, God, I'm already a single mom with 3 kids. And now this situation is messy. So most likely I'm going to be a single mom with 4 kids. Like this is looking real bad. I mean, and it really put me in a place of like self-condemnation, like looking at myself as, you're damaged goods. Like you're a single mom with 4 kids and 3 baby dads. Like that's not the best thing to put on somebody's resume, and it had me in a really horrible place. And God said, in order for you to stop this cycle, you have to understand why you keep going back into this cycle. You have to deal with that childhood trauma that you had. So that book was me pretty much taking my mask off of saying, these are the things I went through when I was a kid. These are the, this is how I grew up without my mom being in the picture. This is what happened with her not being in the picture. Molestation is in the book. Child abuse, sexual abuse, and how suppressing all those things made me look for love in all the wrong places. And I didn't realize that it was putting me in this vicious cycle that my mom went through, and the things that she went through. And it just gave me an eye opener of, when you take the mask off, you give yourself the ability to heal from what happened.
Right.
And it also gives other people the ability to say, you know what, I've been there too. I went through these things. And it was healing for me, but it was also healing for other people. So, yeah, that was my third baby, and I'm working on my fourth one now.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Where can they find these books at?
Amazon. My books are on Amazon. I did have a website, but I had to shut that down when the campaign hit, so I haven't put it back up yet. But Amazon is the best place to find all of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all go cop those.
Go cop those.
Yes. You tell people where they can find you?
Nope.
Listen, I looked at her page. She was like, "Do not hit me on this page about nothing mayoral." There's a whole other page for that. Do
There's
not
a
hit
whole
me on.
other page for that. And they still don't
Man,
listen.
they be in your inbox like, "Mayor,
Yes.
can you get some heat up here today?"
I'm like, yo, legally, I cannot respond to mayoral requests on my personal page. If people don't care to understand that, like, there's legalities that come to that stuff. And it's not only that, but it's boundaries. It's like, if I'm on my personal Facebook page, I don't want a message coming in about your issue. Like, hit me up through the right.
You picture they under your selfie.
Right. Talk about, I just sent your email.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, well, send it to the other page.
Right. Or I just left you a voicemail. I just called you. This don't got nothing to do with my personal life right now.
Right.
But yeah, I do have Facebook. I have a mayor page. It is Mayor Cierra Dent. That is for mayor requests, mayor duties, mayor inquiries, all that good stuff. You could also find me on Facebook under Sierra. I'm on IG as well as Cierra Dent as well. That I very rarely use, but yeah.
Don't hit her if you don't live in Steelton.
Listen, don't be hitting me about no crazy stuff.
Yeah, they don't even live in Steelton.
And if you hit that personal page, you ain't going to get no answer. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Do you see yourself in Washington?
As much as I would not like to.
It's coming, ladies and gentlemen.
I think eventually it may be on the horizon at some point in time. I'm definitely not in no rush whatsoever. I would like to stay local at this point.
Right.
Get to help. I would love to just help my people, and I mean locally. Harrisburg, Steelton, Middletown, all these surrounding areas. I would prefer to help home first before I try to step over. And
that's good because you're helping. You're the mayor of Steelton, but you do stuff everywhere, all over.
Absolutely. I have relations with everybody.
We all get to.
It's fun. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I have people that reach out to me from the city, and if it's something that I can help them with, I do. And this is vice versa. Me and Mayor Williams, we have that type of relationship. If one of her residents hit me up and they need something, if it's something I can help, I'm gonna help. Okay. And she does the same exact thing for us. And so, it's nice to have those relationships.
All right.
Yeah.
It is.
That's awesome.
So,
Hey man, y'all been watching With the Cat podcast.
Yes.
With Miss Cierra Dent, BP and the Bishop.
Woo.
Man, that was a dope one. Listen, make sure y'all go to Amazon and get her books.
Yes.
First and foremost. Read. Do not hear about no mayoral stuff
At
on her
all.
Facebook page.
Don't do it.
First of all. And then make sure y'all follow us not only on YouTube, but on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart Music. What else we got?
You said Amazon Music?
No, we did. We got Amazon Music.
Yeah.
And they just keep piling up by the day. So soon y'all going to be able to find us everywhere on every station that you must go to.
Yes.
And y'all need to follow us.
Quit the Cat.
But this has been another episode of Quit the Cat. It's your boy BP.
Yes.
Alongside the Bishop.
Bam.
And we had the Mayor of Steelton, Miss Cierra Dent.
Thanks for having me.
Quit the Cat. Peace of the gang. We holla. Peace of the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat podcast.